let's see if I can get you started. Let's look at exercise 21.6. We're looking at the direct material and direct labor variances. The information that they've given us is they've given us the actual raw materials used, 16,000 pounds, $4.05. Actual payroll, they've given us the number of hours and the total, and they've given us actual units produced. It says budgeted standards include 0.5 pounds of raw materials at $4 per pound and 10 minutes of direct labor at $20 per hour. These below here are the standards. These are the actual. So we have to calculate the direct material price and quantity and the direct material labor and efficiency variances. I've given you in the spreadsheet the formulas that you need. I'll do the first one with you just to give you an idea. So it's asking for the actual cost of direct materials used. I always want you to show me your calculations. So my actual is going to come from here where it says actual raw materials used. So I'm going to enter 16,000 pounds times $4.05 each. That's my calculation. And that's going to give me 64,800. Next thing it wants is the actual quantity times the standard price. So my actual quantity comes from here, which is the 16,000 pounds, and my standard price comes from my standards down here, and my raw material price is $4 per pound. So I'm going to take my 16,000 pounds times $4 as my standard. So now I have 64,000. The variance is just the difference between the two. So if I take my 64,800 and I subtract the 64,000, I have $800. But I don't use positive or negative numbers in variances, so I need to decide if this is favorable or unfavorable. When we're talking about costs, if my actual cost is greater than my budgeted cost, then that makes it an unfavorable variance. If my actual cost is less than my standard or budgeted cost, then that one would be favorable. So my actual costs are greater than my standard, so this makes an unfavorable variance. You'll repeat the process for the direct material quantity variance. You'll use the actual quantity, which again we get from the box, and the standard price, which comes from right below the box. The standard quantity is, we were told that it was 0.5 pounds of raw material per unit. So I give you a hint here that says we're going to take the 30,000 units times the half or 0.5 pounds of material required per unit. So we would have 15,000 pounds as our standard. I'm going to do the direct labor efficiency variance for you so you can see how that works with direct labor. For direct labor, that means our factory payroll. So we're going to come here to our actual factory payroll, and it says 5,545 hours. That would be my actual direct labor hours, would be the 5,545 hours. But it says it wants it times the standard rate. And the standard rate, it says down here at $20 per hour. We're comparing in the efficiency or the quantity variance, we're comparing standard direct labor hours, actual direct labor hours at the standard rate, and standard direct labor hours at the standard rate. Again, it says that we use 10 minutes of direct labor for each unit. We're going to take 30,000 and we're going to multiply it by 1/6 because 10 minutes out of 60 minutes in an hour gives us 1/6. So that's how we figure out how many direct labor hours we need. So we'll take the 30,000 and we'll divide it by, we'll multiply it by 1/6 or divide it by 6. Either way means the same thing. and then we will multiply it by the standard rate per hour. In the direct labor efficiency variance, what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep the rate the same, because that's not what we're analyzing. We're trying to analyze how efficient they were, and that refers to a quantity or number of hours. So now we do our calculations. And once again, if actual is greater than the standard, we would have an unfavorable variance. If actual were less than the standard, we would have a favorable variance. So we have a $10,900 unfavorable because my actual hours were greater than my standard hours. Hopefully this is enough to get you started. If you have any other questions, just let me know.